welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some more recipes out of this cookbook right here. We are going to be doing some dessert recipes. I am super excited about this. I love desserts. It is my weakness. I cannot say no to a cake. It's just so hard. So go ahead and grab your apron and let's get started. To get us started, we're going to be making this tres leches cake, and oh my word, this is delicious. You're going to make the cake per the directions on the back of the box. And once the cake was done cooking, I went ahead and started on my sauce that I'm going to pour over my cake. So I'm just going to need 1 can of evaporated milk and then 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. We have to make this as delicious and terrible for you as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and mix both of these together. And then I'm going to add in 1/4 cup of whole milk and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm just going to stir this up and make sure it is nice and stirred through. Now, you can definitely omit the milk because it came out just a slight bit runny. So if you want your mixture to be a little bit more on the thick side so that it doesn't like make your cake super runny, then you can definitely omit the milk. And once the cake has cooled, I'm just poking holes, just making sure that all of my mixture that I just made is able to soak through in this cake. And then I will go ahead and pour it all over the cake. Once I poured all of this over the cake, I'm just going to let this sit for about 15 minutes and just kind of let it soak up. And once the 15 minutes are up, I'm going to use a whole container of this Cool Whip, and I'm just going to pour it over the top, and it's just going to make a nice, lovely whipped topping to go on top of your cake. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in 1 can or jar of these maraschino cherries, and I didn't actually use the whole jar. I think this is kind of more like a bigger jar that I had on hand, but I'm just going to create this cute little topping with the cherries. And then if you have any sprinkles, you can add some sprinkles. I think this recipe calls for some rainbow sprinkles, but I did not have any. I know it's in my house somewhere, but I cannot find my rainbow sprinkles. So I just used these chocolate sprinkles, and they turned out beautiful. Even I think the rainbow would have looked more pretty, but this turned out pretty too. And once you get the amount of sprinkles that you want on there, just go ahead and slice it up. And this is what it looks like when it's all done and finished. It was so good. I don't think anything in this book is going to be gross. So it was delicious. Okay, I'm going to be making another poke cake, but this one is divine. You're really going to want to try this. You're just going to need a chocolate cake mix, and you're just going to cook it up just like the directions on the back of the box. And then you're going to need to get some chocolate chips. So we're going to do a whole cup. You can do milk or dark chocolate. And I just melted this. I put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds to a minute just to kind of cook it down. And then once it's all melted through, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of milk. And then I'm going to add in a whole can of condensed sweetened milk. And goodness, this is so good, so bad for you. But we're just going to mix this up and get it nice and mixed through. And it kind of takes a while for you to kind of stir it through. You have to kind of go really slow just to kind of get it properly mixed. It'll get darker and darker as you mix it. And then once your cake has cooled completely, we're going to poke holes just like we did the other cake. And I kind of use this spoon. I don't really have something to poke it with, so I'm just using what I have in my house. And I'm just going to use this spoon, get all the holes poked through, and then I'm going to add in that chocolate mixture that we just made. And just going to pour it over and just kind of make sure that all of the holes, you got chocolate in like all of the holes there. Goodness, that is so hard to say. Okay, and this is what it's going to look like after I poured all the chocolate over, and I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit while I make the frosting. So I'm going to need 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder, and then I used a whole packet of chocolate pudding mix, and then I just used whatever it said for the milk there. So I think that's like 1 3/4 cups, I think is what it called for in that packet. And then I'm just going to give that a good stir and get that cocoa powder in the pudding and the milk all stirred through. And it's going to be like a little bit thicker than what it normally would be for pudding. I think pudding calls for 2 cups of milk, so it's going to be a little bit on the thick side. But we're going to add in 1 container of Cool Whip to that, and I'm just going to fold that in and get it nice and fluffy, and that's all that we're going to need for our frosting. And I am going to tell you that this is very rich. You do not need a lot of this cake. But you're going to want a lot of this cake because it is so good. This was my favorite cake that I made, or dessert that I made out of this book, and it was so good. If there's any recipe that you're going to try that I show you here, this is going to be the one. You can just tell how rich and creamy that frosting is. It is sweet. It is so good. I'm just going to put that on top of my cake here and get it nice and even, and then it is done. It is ready to devour, and I will show you what it looks like. I don't have that good of a picture. I kind of forgot because we had a bunch of people over and they devoured this cake. There was like maybe 2 slices left after everyone ate it. They were talking about it and they said it was so good. Okay, this next one is called the best potluck dessert ever. This one was very good as well. So you're going to need 1 cup of flour, and then one stick of butter, and 1 cup of chopped pecans, and we're just going to give that a good stir. Get all the butter and the flour mixed through properly. Okay, and in a 9x13 pan, I didn't grease it or anything like that. It didn't really need to be greased. I'm just going to go ahead and place that mixture at the very bottom, and that's going to be our crust. I've actually had something super similar to this, but I think that I've used like brownies at the very bottom here, or graham crackers, something like that. And it tasted really well as well. This one, I've never made something like this one before with the pecans on the bottom, but it had a very lovely crust. I really liked and enjoyed the crunch to it. Okay, and then once that was done, I'm going to go ahead and start on my mixture. So I have 8 ounces of cream cheese that was at room temperature. I'm just going to put it at the bottom of my medium-sized bowl. And then I have 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then 1 cup of powdered sugar. And I'm just going to give that a good stir. Once that's nice and creamy, I'm going to go ahead and fold in my whipped cream. I need 2 8-ounce containers of whipped cream, or you can do one of those bigger 16-ounce containers of whipped cream, which is what I had there. And you can fold it in, or you can stir it through. So that's what I'm doing here, is I'm just stirring it and getting it all combined nice and pretty like. And then in another bowl, I'm going to go ahead and get started on my my chocolate layer here. So I have 1 packet of vanilla pudding, and then 1 packet of chocolate pudding, and then 3 cups of milk, And I'm gonna go ahead and give that another good stir just to get everything combined properly. And yes, I didn't like clean those beaters or anything. It's fine. It's all going in the same dish. Don't want to make more work for myself than I have to. So the pudding is done, and I just kind of let it sit for maybe about 5 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and put in that cream cheese on top of my pecan crust that I had made, and just kind of smooth it out, get it combined, and probably just really level. And then on top of this mixture goes that chocolate pudding mixture that we made. And I'm just going to give that a nice even layer as well. And then when that is all done, I'm going to put some more Cool Whip on top. And you'll see in just a minute what else we're going to put on it. It's heavenly. Just absolutely a chocolate heaven cake is what I think it is. Okay, and now that we have all the Cool Whip on here, I am going to add in, I have a half a cup of that pecans that we didn't put into the bottom of the crust. So I'm going to put the remaining of that pecans. Well, I don't think I even use all of the pecans, but I use a good majority of it. And then I'm going to put in some mini chocolate chips to give it even more chocolate. And it is so good. I really hope that you guys try this. If you do try this and you make this, please let me know in the comments what you think of it. I just think it is so delicious. Okay, and for this last one, we're going to be making a banana cream pie, and her recipe is for a coconut cream pie, but I just use banana pudding instead, and it turned out fine. So to start us off, we're going to be using half a stick of butter and just melting it. And then I am making my own crust here, so I use about a cup of graham crackers. And I put in about a tablespoon of sugar, and I'm just mixing this through to get everything to be, I don't know, not crumbly, but just sticking together just a little bit, so that when I make this crust, it's not going to, like, all the crumbs are not going to fall apart after, or like when you slice it. So that's what I'm doing here. Okay, now that my pie crust is done, now you can go ahead and cook that in the oven for about 5 minutes just to get it a little bit crispier. I don't usually do that. I just like it just the way that I make it. Okay, and now to a medium bowl, I'm going to add in 2 boxes of banana cream pie filling, and then I am going to add in my milk. So I am using about 1.5 cups of milk, or you can use like a, if you're doing coconut cream pie, you can use like a coconut milk, anything like that. And I'm just stirring it through, and I am going to let you know that this gets really, really thick. So you're going to need a whisk that is sturdy enough to handle all that. And then I'm going to fold in my Cool Whip. So I'm going to use about half of my Cool Whip that's in that container. So I'm going to use about 4 ounces of Cool Whip, and I'm just trying to fold that in and stirring it through just to get all of that combined in with the banana pudding. And then once it's all stirred through, I'm just going to add this to my pie crust here. And I don't have a very thick or deep dish, so my pie is going to be kind of overflowing here. But if you have a bigger pie dish, I think this will work out perfectly. And I'm just going to get it all together and just kind of smooth it out on top, make sure it's nice and level. And then I'm going to add in the rest of my Cool Whip there, and that is it. I definitely wish I would have made coconut cream pie. I'm a really big fan of coconut cream pie, but I could not find any coconut cream pudding mix anywhere at the stores, so I definitely had to settle for banana. I'm not a very big banana person. If you are a big banana person, please leave me a comment and let me know. I'm so curious who prefers banana over coconut cream pie. I don't know. But if you're doing coconut, you can put some like coconut shavings on top as well. Since mine's banana, I'm going to go ahead and slice up this whole banana and put all these slices on top just to give it some extra flavor. I am not the most decorative person, so I am just doing my best here. I think it looks terrible, but just kind of make do with what I got here. And that is it. I put this in the fridge for a couple hours, and after we had dinner, we had this pie, and it was absolutely delicious. My husband, he is a big banana person. He said it was really good. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making all of her lovely desserts, and I'm so glad that you guys watched this, and I hope to see you in the next one. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and here are some videos that I recommend that you watch that I think that you'll enjoy. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.